Greetings everyone, it's Denise again with Denise's Dancing Paintbrush, and today I'm working on a little model house. These little houses are something I created for a book, a craft book full of every house, a different house for a different state. This one is a little Missouri farmhouse with brick. I've already colored it using my Tombow pens, and now I am scoring all of the lines. Even though I'm using heavy paper, I've got to score or make a dent, as it were, in each of the lines that are going to be folded, and you should do that before you cut the little houses out. It's easier. And so I'm using a dotting tool that I usually use on my fingernails, but it works very well. A knitting needle or anything with a blunt end, like a ballpoint pen, will work, but all the fold lines need to be scored before you cut it out. Then I'm using my X-Acto knife to cut all these little porches. I want them to be open so you can see through to the front door, and so I'm cutting through. Naturally, what this means when you do something with a really sharp knife like this is that we can't use this particular project for smaller children. But this would be great for a high school project, for a math or architectural design type project for school, I thought. And yeah, the math behind it is all, boxes and squares and three-dimensional enclosure of shapes. Now, you don't have to do this, but I also cut out the little tiny spaces in between the railing that will go on top of one of the porches. And I like the look of it, so you can see through the railing, but it did take a little bit of time cutting out all the little tiny spaces in between the rails. And you have to do it carefully because they're very small spaces, as you can see. But it did give it a very effective porch railing look. Now I've got these little scissors. I'm going to switch to some bigger scissors in a bit, but the little ones work just fine for smaller things like these little porches, and you've got to cut all around the heavier lines that I've created, and then fold along the score lines. I sped this up so that it doesn't take too long to go through all of the preliminaries. As you can see, I colored out the lines. It doesn't matter because I knew I was going to cut that part off. There's a roof. I just went back and forth with my Tombow pen to make it look a little like, a little like shingles, not a lot. Now on the flaps that will be glued onto the walls, I decided later that they're stark white, and they'll really show against those nice brick walls that I created. So I'll pull out my Tombow pens again and color in the flaps. So now I put together the little railing, and I'm going to get the glue. I'm just using regular Elmer's white glue, and you have to hold it for about 15 to 30 seconds for the glue to really adhere to the paper, because this is thicker paper. I'm using paper that's 65-pound cover weight paper, it's not just plain old 24-pound photocopy paper. That would be a little too flimsy for these little houses. Need something a little bit thicker. All these directions I put in the in each of the little house patterns. It'll be in the book, of course, that you need to use a heavier weight paper. And I'm also selling these a few at a time on Etsy. My Etsy page link will be below. And so you can just buy one house pattern and not the whole book worth, or you can buy, you can wait until the whole book comes out and buy all 50 houses. So I'm folding all the flaps. And then on the porches, I'm just gluing the floor and the flap for the floor down. Now I'm cutting out the main house building, cutting around all the little notches. You can see I don't even mind coloring over into the flaps because the flaps are going to be glued under. Nobody will see them. Now I'm folding again along the score lines. That's why scoring is so helpful. And then first I glue flap number 1. That makes it into kind of a cylinder. And then I glue the floor flaps down. So, and then put on the roof. Unfortunately, I pulled the little house close to me so that I could hold it down, and you can't see that part, but there it is. And now I'm deciding that I really need to put bricks on the flaps, on the inside of the flaps, on the little porch, or it'll really show. So I've got my orange, my red, and my tan Tombow pins out to put brickwork on the flaps. And there it is. So I glue the porch onto the building, and you can't see the flap anymore. It's invisible because it has the brickwork painted onto it. Same with the roof. I decided the flap is going to show if it's stark white, so I put the brickwork on that inside flap. And put glue onto it, and there it is. I'm holding down the roof onto the little porch. I wiggle too much when I'm holding it down. I get impatient. There. Same with this one. This is the porch on the other side of the building. The one that'll have a flat roof with a little railing on top, and it needs brickwork painted on the flaps as well. So here's my Tombow pins, and I'm just putting little marks on it for brick. Put a little glue on the flap, and hold it down. There's the flat piece for the top. I'll hold that for a minute, and then put the railing on top of that. And now, while that's setting, I'm cutting out the little chimneys. The chimneys are optional. You don't have to do either of them or both of them. You could have just one. So it's very small, so you can hardly see what my fingers are doing, but I'm just folding on the score lines, the teeny little flaps, and then putting the glue on one edge and just holding it. There, I needed to cut off a little bit because it wouldn't stay folded. There we go. Now I'm putting glue on the bottom so it'll go right onto the roof, and I'm just going to hold it for a second or two while it sticks. Time for the second one. I like the chimneys. They add a little extra, I don't know, cuteness? Maybe for a house it's not cuteness. More like homey charm. So glue on that one little flap, hold it for a second, and then it's ready to go onto the roof. There we are. Now the last thing I did was put the name on the bottom of the houses because I keep forgetting which house is which. You can see on the left that I was creating one for a Idaho house, and here it is, photographs of all sides. The little porch there, and the little chimneys on top with the painted brickwork and the railing. I think I got it off just a tiny bit, but hey, I'm an artist, not an architect. I sure appreciate you watching this all the way through. Subscribe if you like my work. Thanks for watching. Bye.